What is computer? Computer is an electronic device for storing, processing data, typically in binary form. According to instruction given to it a variable program. And for additional, computer generally means a programmable machine. The two principal characteristics of a computer are it responds to a specific set of instructions in well-defined manner, and it can execute a pre-recorded list of instructions or program. Input device. Input device is the conduct through which data and instruction enter to a computer, such as keyboard, magnetic stripe reader, modem, mouse, scanner, or stylus that feeds data or instruction into a computer for display, processing, storage, or outputting or transmission. And output device. An output device is any piece of computer hardware equipment used to communicate the results of data processing carried out by an information processing system such as a computer, which converts the electronically generated information into a human readable form. Storage device. What is storage device? Computer data storage, often called storage or memory, is a technology consisting of computer components and recording media used to retain digital data. It is a core function and fundamental component of a computers. Now let's proceed to types of storage device. We have floppy drive, super drive, zip drive, hard drive, and flash drive. Floppy drive, the smallest and the most portable of all the storage devices, usually holds about 1.44 MB of storage used of floppy disk media. Super drive, the LS120 or Super D, is a drive which supports a special floppy disk which can store up to 120 megabytes or 240 megabytes of information, as well as being backwards compatible and still supporting the standard floppy diskettes. Zip drive, new generation similar to the floppy disk drive created by Lumega. The Lumega zip drive was first released in 1994, and today is becoming a popular solution for PC and Macintosh computer as a removable solution. Zip drive disks come in 100 megabytes, 220 megabytes, and 700 megabytes. And now, hard drive. A hard drive is usually both inside your computer and holds anywhere from 1 gig up to 4 terabytes of capacity. There are three types of internal hard drives are PATA, SATA, and SCSI. External hard drives comes in USB, FireWire, SATA, and SCSI. And the last one is the flash drive. Flash drive, a compact and portable device used for storing data anywhere from 125 megabytes up to 4 gigs. Software, application, and operating system. An operating system is software that manage computer hardware and software resources and provides common services for computer programs. The operating system is an essential component of the system software. In a computer system, application programs usually require an operating system to function. And what is an expansion card? Expansion cards is an add-on circuit board that is used to connect devices such as modems, sound cards, graphic cards, and network interface cards to the computer.
ISA, or what we called Industry Standard Architecture. ISA is an expansion slot found only in Windows-based computer. It operates at a much slower speed than PCI. Thus, most ISA expansion cards that are available work with slower devices such as modems, Most Windows-based computers today contain a mix of PCI and ESA slots. However, the ESA slot is expected to be eliminated soon. AGP Accelerated Graphic Port. AGP is a specialized expansion slot used only for a graphics or video card. AGP operates at a much faster speed than PCI. Only one AGP slot is provided on AGP-equipped motherboard. PCI, which we called Peripheral Component Interconnect. PCI is the most common expansion slot found in the modern computer. It is found in both Macintosh and Windows-based computer. PCI slot provided a high-speed data path between the computer and peripheral devices connected by expansion cards. Many types of expansion cards are available. These include network interface cards, sound cards, graphic cards, modem cards, and card that supplies extra support for the computer.
What is motherboard? Motherboard is the main circuit board of the computer that covers most of the bottom of the system unit. Motherboard has a format, which is XT motherboard, AT motherboard, BB80 motherboard, ATX motherboard, Micro ATX motherboard, Flex ATX motherboard. XT motherboard is the old model of motherboard. AT motherboard is the advanced technology motherboard. BB80 has a combination of XT and AT. ATX motherboard is the latest motherboard. ATX motherboard has a two types of motherboard, which is the micro and flex. Micro is a smallest physical size, called a footprint, than a full ATX motherboard, and usually has a 3 or 4 expansion slots. Flex ATX motherboard has a maximum dimensional of 9 by 7.5 inches, which
Saan ka na?
Flex ATX motherboard. It has a maximum dimension of 9 by 7.5 inches, which makes them the smallest motherboard.
BIOS chip and battery. The BIOS chip contains the basic code needed to take your computer through the boot process, up to the point where the operating system takes over. Since the BIOS code is stored on a memory chip that needs constant power to function, a battery is also present to keep the chip powered when the computer is unplugged. Processor socket, or what we call CPU socket. The processor socket is the central piece of a motherboard, usually being located near the center of the motherboard. It's also the central piece because it holds the processor, which is the brain of our computer. IDE connector. IDE connector connects to older hard drives and optical drives for data transfer. PCI slots, or what we called peripheral component interconnect. Slot for older expansion cards such as sound cards, network cards, and connector cards. Memory slots. Memory slots are located in the upper right part of the motherboard. The memory slots are used to house the computer's memory module. The number of slots can vary depending on motherboard from 2 in low-end motherboards all the way up to 8 memory slots on high-end and gaming motherboard. It is important to pay close attention to the type of memory a motherboard supports in order to buy appropriate memory modules. North Bridge, also known as Memory Control Hub, chipset that allows the CPU to communicate with the RAM and graphics card. South Bridge, also known as the Input-Output Controller Hub, chipset that allows the CPU to communicate with PCI slots, PCI Express, SATA, USB ports, Ethernet ports, and onboard audio. SATA connectors. SATA connector connects to modern hard drives, solid-state drives, and optical drives for data transfer. Back panel connectors and ports. Connectors and ports for connecting the computer external devices such as display ports, audio ports, USB ports, Ethernet ports, PS2 ports, and etc.
Few warnings and reminders before you start disassembling your computer tower to keep both your unit and yourself safe. First is fully shut down and unplug the computer before you make any attempts to disassemble the tower. Take off any metal objects on your arms or fingers such as bracelets, rings, or watches even if your unit is unplugged. There may still be some remaining electric charges. Make sure your hands are completely dry to avoid damaging any mechanical parts as well as to avoid electrocution. Work in a cool area to avoid perspiration for the same reason as here in the previous number. Before touching any part with the tower, put your hands against another metal surfaces such as the computer casing to remove static charge which may damage sensitive devices. Prepare a place to keep any screws you may remove, any container or piece of paper with labels for each part, which is casing, motherboard, CD drive. Is ideal to avoid confusion between the similar looking screws. Handle all parts with care. Place each piece you remove carefully down onto stable surfaces. If a component does not come out easily, do not forcefully remove it. Instead, check that you are removing it correctly and that no worries or other parts are in the way. Be careful when holding the motherboard. Its underside actually quite pointy and able to hurt you. Never attempt to remove the power source and a box attached to the side or bottom of the unit which all cables are connected. Be careful not to drop any small parts, particular screws, into unreachable areas such into the computer fan or disk drive. Take note that the three of the most damaging things to a computer are moisture, such as sweat, drinking water, shock, electric of being dropped, and dust any debris from household dust to bits of foods. That's all, thank you. Be careful not to drop any small parts, such as a screw, into unreachable areas, such as into the computer fan or disk drive. Take note that the three of the most damaging things to the computer are moisture, shock, and dust.
Additional reminders before you disassemble the system unit. Aside from electrocution, we must also think that the computers what we are about to disassemble requires care. Safety of the equipment must also be considered. Not only thinking of the computer's safety but also to that of your tools. Your tools are your best friends, and you need to take good care of them so they return can make your job easy and fast. Example, if you just leave your software installer anywhere that accidentally falls to the ground and accumulates scratches, do you think you can still use the installer? Another thing to consider safety is on environment. As computer technicians, we must be responsible to take our part to take care of the environment. What things does computer technician do that might have an effect on the environment? Printers, ink, cut wires, PCBs in general, electronic waste. In these electronic waste are the hardest type of waste to recycle. So be responsible as a computer servicing technician So list below is the checklist for a safe and successful disassembly and assembly of the computer. Let's start to disassemble and assemble the system unit. Let's go!
CJ gon' poke it like wet paint.
Ratchet pussy. Ratchet pussy. You say no to
Ratchet pussy.
ratchet pussy. You say no to
Ratchet pussy.
ratchet pussy. Ratchet pussy. Ratchet pussy. Ratchet pussy. Ratchet pussy. Ratchet pussy. You say no to
Ratchet pussy.
ratchet pussy. You say no to
Ratchet pussy.
ratchet pussy. You say no to
Ratchet pussy.
ratchet pussy. You say no to
Ratchet pussy.
ratchet pussy. You say no to
Ratchet pussy.
Twerk, 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 Molly, Molly, twerk. Twerk, twerk, Molly, 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 twerk. Twerk, yeah, twerk, 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 twerk.
Computer troubleshooting tips. All computers at one time or another lock up or misbehave. They are imperfect machines. Built by imperfect beings, thus it is never a matter of if they will lock up or misbehave, but rather it's a matter of when. Will they lock up or misbehave? A computer that locks up or behaves funny once in a long while is not an indication of a problem, just part of the norm. Only if a computer locks up or misbehaves regularly following a particular pattern step or operation is it in an indication of a problem.